Yeah, I'm assuming that's Bill. I just gave you one of everything.
Were you talking to me?
Yeah.
Did you say I'm sorry?
I said I just gave you one of everything for
Well,
each meeting,
Okay.
just to
perfect,
make
thank
it
you.
easier.
Appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
We should get started recording. Well, I think we're ready to go. It's ready. Let's do it. It's probably Bill again.
No, it's not.
Not Bill this time?
It might have been a car.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's get going here. Good evening. Welcome to the Grant County Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for December 2nd, 2024. If you would, all please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And at this time, if you would, silence your cell phones. And Katie, would you give us a roll call for attendance?
Atkins,
Here.
Johnson. Okay. Jones. Here. Long.
Here.
Pearson.
Here.
Young.
Here. Okay. And if we will turn to the minutes for October the 7th, 2024. Do we have any changes or amendments to the minutes?
Yeah, make the motion make it as presented.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Long.
I'll second.
And we have a second by Mrs. Jones. Is there any discussion? Okay. Hearing none. We have a roll call, please.
Atkins.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Young.
Abstain for the 7th and yes on the 25th. I was not present on the 7th.
Okay, we're doing the 7th, so
Okay.
you abstained from
Abstain on the
it.
7th.
Okay, motion passes, 4 votes, 1 abstain. And moving to the minutes for October 25th. Do we have any additions or corrections to the minutes? ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the October 25th minutes as presented.
We have a motion from Mr. Pearson. Do we have a second?
I'll second. I'll second.
And we have a second from Mrs. Jones. Is there any discussion? Okay. Hearing none. Would you give us a roll call, please?
Atkins?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Moving on to the findings of fact. Findings of fact for docket 10 BZA V-24 Cowgill. Was the petitioner.
Mr. President, may I ask a question?
Sure.
It appears that the findings of fact that are in the packet are what each individual member should find individually. And then I think in the past, you must have summarized those then into one formal finding of fact. I'm not, unless I didn't get it, I'm not seeing that. Because there's really nothing, if this is what you're voting on, there's really nothing.
There's nothing filled out.
Yeah, exactly.
So did anybody turn any in?
That's why they're in
I think we
now.
better table this one until next month.
Yeah, because what we should have, and this becomes important if anybody wants to appeal and go into court, we have to have findings of facts which have been approved by the board, and the findings of facts are these things which someone, I think you in the past have actually prepared them, which is fine based on what everyone else says, what everyone else's opinions are. But that's got to be done, and then that's what everyone is approving when we're approving the findings of facts.
Yeah, and we have had a history of being much more careful when there's a negative outcome,
Yeah.
that we've got them all down.
Which is wise, and
But it's a little sloppy otherwise.
I would just ask that everyone please try to get these filled out at least a week before the meeting. So Mr. Hartman, as the chairman, has always put together the final draft, and then that final draft is what's approved at the meetings. That way, in case someone does appeal and what is positive, it's highly unlikely it's going to be appealed. But that way, if someone ever does do it, because the first thing the judge is going to ask for is the findings of facts. If we don't have them, we're done right off. We don't even have anything to argue because we haven't procedurally done what we're supposed to do. Hope that makes sense.
It does make sense.
Sure.
So we would give these to you now.
Yeah,
After they're filled out.
after you fill them out.
Yeah.
I mark yes.
Yes, if you guys have done it, then those need to get to Mr. Hartman, and he, now, frankly, and I know you could delegate that to the staff to do for you, but I think you've always wanted to do it yourself, Mr. President, but that's up to you on how you want that handled.
Yeah, I have summarized those more difficult ones.
Excellent.
But
So would it be easier when I put the packets together, when you do have a public hearing, put a blank copy of the finding of
Those should
facts?
absolutely be in before the public hearing, so the board has that fresh in their minds And then while they're doing it, they can mark it. And
Okay,
then when they're done, then they can either hand it to you or the chairman, whatever the chairman
no,
prefers.
that's fine, that works.
So that way you have them right after the event, and then you can draft it or someone can draft it.
Yeah. I mean, we used to try and put them together at the end of the meeting, but a lot of times there wasn't much detail in that.
Sure,
Because
sure.
of just,
Yeah.
if the meeting goes a full hour, and we're trying to get out of the way for the next meeting, a
Right.
lot of thought gets put into them, but,
So at least if everyone turns these over to you, and I'm assuming you'll continue the tradition, then you just prepare one
yeah.
of these, which is a summary, and then everyone can vote to approve that at the next meeting.
Yeah.
So we need a motion to table the finding of facts.
Yes, until January,
Okay,
January's meeting.
that would be 10 BZAB-24.
Yes. Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Atkins. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Mrs. Jones. Any further discussion? Hearing none, would you give us a roll call, please?
Atkins,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Motion passed. Okay. Now we'll move on to reports, resolutions, communication, general discussion. And after that, we'll get to public comments. So at this time, Mr. Glickfield, you
Yes, sir.
have some resolutions for us that,
Would you like me to explain it briefly?
yeah, just briefly explain it. I think most
Hopefully everyone
people
has a
here
copy in
know.
front of them now. So if you'll recall in previous meetings, the board had pretty much wanted to see some changes in the area-wide zoning ordinance. And we've had discussions on it. This is the actual act where by resolution, you're recommending that these changes be made to the county commissioners. The two big changes were starting under 153-104, that section be removed. To refresh your memory, that's the section where minor variances could be done inside the office. I think Mr. Milat himself was handling those. And I think the board had decided that was not proper and would prefer that be removed from the area-wide zoning ordinance. Of course, the commissioners are the ones who have to do that. So this resolution shares then with the commissioners your desire that you think it's better as the board who deals with these issues that the office not have the ability to handle that. That's the first change. Is there any questions on that?
And one of the reasons in our discussion was that it's the same process that we go through here, except for placing a sign in the yard. We kind of felt like if you're actually going to have a public hearing and you actually follow through that entire process, we ought to probably do it here because we're not swamped for work anyway. And so it would be best that we go through that public hearing process ourselves. When you push it off to someone else, in the code, there was a place for a zoning administrator to serve as that person. And not having one of those, the APC said the executive director could serve in that role. But Ryan said, we really don't do it anyway. But anyway, we may as well just get our resolution done and get our area-wide zoning ordinance in compliance with how we really do things. So that's why we brought that one forward.
And just a hair more background, and I'm going back many years on when I was on APC myself. There was long periods of time where there was trouble getting a quorum. And so that was put into place because you couldn't get a quorum, so people would have to wait and wait and wait. This board and the APC board are very active. Attendance is excellent, and it's really not an issue like it was in the past. You'll get things resolved within a month. I don't think, we've had a quorum every meeting that I've been here. I think almost everybody's been in attendance, frankly. So that's another major difference. It's not there anymore.
Yeah, I don't think we've failed to get a quorum in years.
Been some years.
It's been years, hasn't it?
And you guys, but believe it or not, 20 years ago, it hasn't always been that way.
All right, and the other resolution.
The other then is the language, which we had also discussed in the past, where you were to go to the individual boards and then talk to them. Unfortunately, that violates the state code. So the language in here now is language that is in line with code. So we're basically replacing that, going to each board and finding out what their opinion is, and substituting with this language here where no communication is allowed, which is what the code contemplates anyway.
Yeah, this is directly from code, isn't it?
Right.
Okay.
Which again, I think that had also been discussed in the past. So is there any questions on that language?
Okay, now the board has already voted for these measures. Is there any reason to take a vote on this resolution?
Well, we put it in the form of a resolution now where the resolution can then be presented to the commissioners at some point. Could get on their agenda. And I don't know, hopefully you got my one for APC too, but we also have the same resolution for the area plan. I think at some point somebody has to be put on the agenda to present these and then ask them to pass an ordinance, or amend the area-wide zoning ordinance, which would be, they would do by ordinance to enact these changes.
So that's the next step, is taking it to the APC for them
I don't think it hurts
to then
for,
recommend it to the commissioners.
I don't think it hurts for the BZA either, for both bodies, frankly, to have resolutions. And so the commissioners can see that both bodies desire that these changes, assuming that's what you want, of course, be put in place. And as Mr. Hartman suggests, I think they've already been voted on. He's just asked me to put it in writing now, so there's something to go ahead and present. So that's a long way of saying, I think no, you don't have to vote on it because you already have voted on it, but I think it makes sense to go ahead and approve the resolution, and then it can be presented as approved by the board on this date.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
We on number 2, I think.
Yes.
I think it's resolution 2,
Yeah.
2024.
Okay, let's start with number 1. Do we have a motion to approve that resolution?
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 1.
Right. Have a motion from Mrs. Jones. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Second from Mr. Adkins. Any further discussion? Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Atkins,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Okay, motion pass. We have a motion for the second resolution.
I'll make a motion that we pass the second resolution.
We have a motion from Mr. Adkins. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second from Mr. Pearson. Is there any further discussion? Okay, do we have a roll call, please?
Atkins?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Motion passed. Okay. Now, next, we have the report for October on building permits. And another month here as well. For November, as of 11/19. Is this in Excel?
Yes.
Could you run a total on these for, at the bottom,
For
like the month?
the cost?
Yes, the cost,
Yeah, we can do that.
cost of the permit. Is-
Do you want just the permits or do you want the cost of construction too?
Anybody want the cost of construction too?
Be nice information.
Okay. Were there any questions on this?
On the roofs, are they, it's a straight figure, $25. Doesn't require a size or anything like that of the roof.
The only time it costs more than 25 is if you do your garage and your house, then it's 50 altogether. Other than that, nope.
Do you know, in November, there's 4 homes built on the same property, all 30,000 each?
So the reason you're seeing that is because they got split that the same year. So the split hasn't gone into effect yet in Elevate. So it'll still pop up the same address right now, but it's getting changed since it's getting split and everything else.
What kind of home is a $30,000 home?
Ash J Max Construction.
Okay.
They say it's 30,000 or however much, and that's what we go with. So, but they do have all the amenities. Like sometimes they do a vacuum cleaner through the walls on each floor, and they have a little bit of everything in there.
Yeah, I think it's like the micro homes or something.
30,000 doesn't buy much anymore, does it?
I mean, you can barely buy one of those like 15 by 30 sheds for that.
And it could have been that Grace was typing too fast and missed a zero. I mean, it could be a little bit of everything. I don't really mess with permits too much anymore.
Oh, maybe one of those tiny homes. I can see that, maybe.
How small a house do we allow?
720.
720, I thought.
That's
Okay.
just small, so
Smallest one, yeah.
Maybe the tiny house, we don't have approval for tiny house.
I've had people ask, but we do not have an ordinance for it. And 9 times out of 10, you can't get it rated for insulation wise for anything. So it's not worth it.
Probably just a remodel,
So this,
to remodel, siding and all that stuff.
so Meridian Street, that's really just one permit at 150. It's not
You're
four
going to
permits.
tell me where you're looking.
she said that it's
They're split, they
Four
bought a
put
piece
together.
of property and they're splitting
The
that.
land.
So it's 150 for each house.
Yep,
You're gonna have 4?
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Trying to think of where that is.
Then there was one other one. Remember when I was up in the office in October?
Beckley?
It's not on here. That I see, so.
No, you came in like right at our cutoff to get this in, so.
I don't see it in November either. Unless I'm just somehow missing it, but I'm pretty sure I don't see it. So if you would, look into that. I don't have my receipt with me, but
I also could have got it before she was done editing it, so.
all right. So, there's one to add then. All right.
Some lot is 5,400 square feet.
I haven't even started yet.
Really?
Yeah. So I got to get a hold of the contractor. Get a date on that. So anyway, got sidetracked a little bit there. Are there any other questions about the permit report? Okay. Any other business of the board? Any other discussion? Okay. Then we have 4 minutes for public comment. If anyone would like to address the BZA on anything that we can help with, feel free to come to the podium, state your name. Okay. Not seeing anyone. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Young, second by Mr. Pearson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Those in the audience, we're going to have a 30-minute, hopefully, executive session, so we're going to have to clear this room. Feel free to take a chair with you if you'd like, but it'll be held to just the area planning commission members in executive session. Thank you. Please.
I don't want it.
I understand.
I didn't realize they said different, so then they did the BCAs.
That's okay.
But yeah, no, I've got it right here. Do you want a copy of that one too?
No, I know what it says. I don't need one.
Okay.
And I have invited the president and vice president of the BZA to attend this executive session if they so choose.
Yep, and I'll pass it out to the friend.
Oh, are they having this here?
Yes, we'll have it in here.
Yeah, you
You guys
too.
will probably have to lose your seats. Mr. Bluefield's welcome to stay. I would like for Mr. Glickfield to
You
stay.
want him to do? You're staying over here. You're moving over. Here, you get a new one.
All right.
Did I skipped you. My bad.
So by the little corner seat, you're gonna, we were last up.
I'm not sure where I'm at.
You are not.
Somebody else is-
Yeah, you don't have, I'm sorry, you don't have to join.
Okay, I'll get it.
Yeah, we did, that's right, because Pat kind of.
We are still recording, by the way.
Uh,
I think the BZA meeting is still recording.
Well, I'll get that,
I mean, I can see that.
get that terminated. Jason, we're gonna have an executive session, so we got a 30-minute timeout with just the commission members.
My second paper.
Have a chair with you if you'd like.
Hey, how you doing, Bob? Seen you a long time.
Good morning. Where am I at, Nate?
There, you can do this. Are you sure you don't want one?
Okay.
Okay.
But no, that'll be interesting too.
No, they're giving out.
They're not me.
You can stay.
You're right here.
Yeah, sorry.
You're right there.
Frank tried to get out.
Thanks for having me out.
Where you want to sit? I'm not sitting until you sit. Because y'all are gonna pick. No, y'all are so smart, Alex.
They called your bluff.
Dead. He's so dead.
Off is on.
Well, he had an ablation done, he's been having AFib almost all the time.